How's it going, everybody? This is Jonathan here with Judith Knife Company. I've been getting asked the same question quite a bit, and I have a nice little typed out response that I can send to people, but the question I get is, tell me about it. Tell me about this knife. And I am so proud of the design of this knife, and I really want to share some of the key attributes in its design with you. It really has a lot more going on than it might seem to appear. First things first is this knife is made to be used. It wants to work. And I want to see it work. I will take care of you if you damage these. If you chip the edge, I will fix it. These knives really want to be used, and they will work hard for you. The blade steel they are made from is 52100, and that is actually engraved right here on the blade. 52100 is very popularly used in industrial ball bearings. 52100 gives fantastic edge retention. So it will take a long time for this knife to go dull on you, but fear not, as it also includes free lifetime resharpening. So all you have to do, if you live locally, you're more than welcome to bring the knife by and I'll sharpen it. Otherwise, I'll just ask you to cover the shipping costs, and that's it. I'll sharpen your knife whenever you like, as many times as you like. Getting into some of the design features of this knife, it has something that I have dubbed the deep hollow grind. So I grind these on a hollow grind wheel, and you can see if you look at the profile of the edge, it definitely has a nice hollow right here. The edge is definitely hollow ground, but you'll see that the hollow runs down the center of the blade. Now typically your hollow grind is going to be right at the edge. On a straight razor that would be the case, but on these knives you can see that the edge actually starts to get a little bit thicker. So having a deep hollow grind like this allows this knife to need pretty minimal maintenance other than sharpening for many years. As a knife gets sharpened, the edge of that knife will get moved back and your knife will get smaller. But with this knife, your performance with time will actually get better. The deep hollow grind also does great in kitchen applications. It helps with food release. It gives negative space behind the edge, which allows for food to not stick to the knife. These knives also feature a rounded spine. It really helps in everyday use. A lot of us like to grip a knife just like this and put your thumb on the back to give support, and if you have a sharp 90-degree spine, that can actually cut your fingers if your hands are wet. Like I said, this knife is made to be used, and it wants to be used hard, so a lot of comfort features have been built in. These handle scales are completely smooth. They are flush to the spine of the knife perfectly. You can see there's absolutely no gaps or spaces. And to help with that, I really only use 3 materials for my handles. I use Richlite, I use micarta, and I use G10. They're all very similar. They're essentially a medium that is stabilized with epoxy. Richlite is paper, micarta is typically fabric, and G10 is fiberglass. G10 was developed by NASA for circuit boards in space because it is incredibly resistant to change in shape from heat and moisture. Micarta is also used for circuit boards in industrial applications. Richlite, this material, they found it is incredibly lightweight and wear resistant. This is actually what they make the skateboard ramp at the X Games out of. Not this specific color, but this material. The knife also features a tapered tang. There's no way you've been able to miss that, I'm sure, but the tapered tang is one of my favorite features. Aesthetically, it looks fantastic. I think it really adds a lot of character to the knife. The thickest part of the knife actually being right here. Everything tapers from this point, so the tang tapers down, the tip tapers forward, and the edge tapers down as well. I find that it is very aesthetically pleasing, but The tapered tang also reduces quite a lot of weight, and the handles on these knives are skeletonized underneath the scales. I do all of my sheaths in-house. I use a thermo-molded plastic called Kydex. Kydex is fantastic for sheath material because it really holds good retention. And it also offers a lot of mounting options. So I can place these eyelets wherever I like, and I have these set up to run either horizontally or with a set of J-clips, they can run vertically. I definitely recommend these knives keep a thin coat of oil on them, as they are a high carbon steel. If you leave them in water or put them through the dishwasher, I promise you they will rust. But a thin coat of oil stops that. If it does get rusty, let me know, I can fix it. And lastly, to tell you about this knife, I'm making it. It's just me. The one way small businesses can beat out large businesses is with top tier customer service. You'll call me and you'll speak to a real person when the phone rings, I promise. If you have any other questions about this knife, please do not hesitate to ask me. I love what I do. This is my full-time job. It pays my bills, and I'm proud to say it. Hopefully that answers your questions of tell me about it, and this gives you a pretty good idea of what this knife can do.